Okay, vibrato. I've got a little loop going here. Vibrato is a huge deal to me. I tend to be a real jerk about it, actually. A little pad on there. Alright, let's do that. Okay. Virtually all of our heroes, I think maybe all of our heroes, I don't know, have a vibrato that's the same every note, but also it's either on or off, right? It's like it's on at the beginning or it's not on, and that shouldn't be good enough for most of us, you know. So another way to think about it, right, is you have a continuum of vibratos, right? You have you have very subtle vibrato, right? And there you probably, if you're anything like me, you probably want it to be very thin, very slow. Because here's what, if you invert the thin slow, if you don't have thin and slow, you have, for example, slow and wide, you get that real 80s metal. That thing. And I personally, that's not my thing, right? I'm not into that sound. If you don't keep it slow, if you try to do fast and thin, then you get what, let's face it, most people have, right? Which is the mosquito vibrato, right? That's fast and thin. So think of it like subtle is slow, and you do whatever you want. I'm just giving my philosophy on it. Subtle is slow and thin. Intense is wide and fast. And it's a total continuum between there. You don't do the exact same space on that continuum on every note. And subtle. A little less subtle. Right? I get wider and faster. And you really start choking the note, right? And all of a sudden your notes have this variety of expression to them, right? Right, as you really start choking it out, right? And then there's this other variable about when during the note do you want it to come on. Because again, most people, it's there at the beginning or it's not there, right? But introducing it into the note, letting it get wider as it goes, right? More intense as it goes. Right? Having, I don't know, probably 7-8 years ago, I started doing it to where there's nothing, and then I completely choke out the note. So, which is a really interesting sound. Right? So, should be thinking of a continuum of vibratos, right? I don't know a famous player to point you toward. Jeff Beck, maybe. A lot of that's with the bar. I mean, Jeff Beck is the gold standard for expressiveness, so probably him. But you can, even the ones that he's doing with the bar, which is a great way to do it too. The ones that he's doing with the bar, you can mimic with your fingers. So in one solo, I was just working. I'm just gonna play because I know I'm naturally going to play a lot of variety in the vibrato. Yeah, you did a little bit of it. I'm going to repeat that. Just change up the note. I offset it off the beat, right? It's going back to video 1. I'm going to repeat that whole thing. Now I'm laying into it. How am I laying into it? More harder vibrato. Let's revisit that sort of following thing. How did I make it more intense? Squeeze the vibrato, right? I went on the side of the intense. Right. And then there's another kind of vibrato that's on the extreme subtle end, right? It works on chords. Very subtle. It's subtle enough you might not be able to hear it through the other music, but it's definitely there. My friend Noel convinced me to start using that back in the 90s. That one actually pulls the note lower, so it will actually go around the middle pitch. Right, I can, as long as I'm laying into the vibrato. Look, I take you with me, right? You feel the thing I'm making you feel. I'm making you feel like this is not as big a deal, right? Or I'm trying to tell you something very subtly, right? But I can whip you into the listener into a frenzy through this mechanical device, right? That's, by the way, that's here. How do I stop this? That's the way you want to think of guitar technique, or this is what I say to my I'm fortunate enough to have some pretty advanced students, and we get to talk about some pretty advanced stuff, and it's a lot of fun. One of the things we talk about is when we do music theory is that you learn music theory the way a supervillain learns geometry or mechanics. So a supervillain is sitting in math class paying the most attention out of anybody, because the supervillain sees, I can use this math to hurt people, right? I see the way I can control people using this, right? And that's the way you want to learn music theory. Music theory is 100,000% a of a framework for cataloging the things that make the average human, overwhelmingly, I mean, most humans feel certain things at certain times, right? And same thing with technique, as we were just saying. So you learn music theory in such a way that, hey, look, when I write this 6th chord, everybody in the room feels a little sad. After that 6th chord, if I give them a major 2 chord, everybody in the room feels like they have hope. If I give them a minor 2 or a regular 4 chord, all of a sudden that hope is taken back. You know, like you can learn theory in such a way that it becomes a very predictable, very wieldable, usable tool to control your listeners' emotions. I mean, it sounds terrible to put it that way, but it's terribly awesome, right? And the same thing goes for your guitar mechanics, right? If you approach them in a way that is conducive to a breadth of expression, then you can start to wield that expression at different times. So literally when I'm doing the subtle vibrato and being a little quieter on some of the notes, not even all, the listener feels like this is a very subtle part of the solo. I'm supposed to feel something subtly heavy about it. And then I start laying into the vibrato, and it brings out the rage in the listener somewhat, you know? And yeah, that's part of your calling as an artist, right? So, okay. I love y'all. I love you. Did they ever find out what that rash was?